Welcome to John Hardin High School. We're going to have some football here in just a few minutes. I'm David Gary. Joining me today, John Schartzer and Drew Bernardi. We've got a couple of football teams that know each other and a couple of teams that we've seen already, John, in the last couple of weeks. One team has won 2 in a row. That's Bulldogs here. They're defending their turf. And Central Hardin, they're looking to pick up a win after dropping 2 in a row.
Yeah, Central's definitely got to make some adjustments in the last couple of weeks. You know, last week they probably should have won against South Warren. South Warren killed themselves with penalties, so let's see if they can get things turned around.
Central couldn't get a whole lot going, but they did score 17 points, which is more than they scored the week prior to that. But some of that had to do with playing a great football team in Cal, and some of that had to do with Hurricane Harvey's remnants making a mess of the Bruin field out there. Now, field's not going to be an issue tonight, nor is weather. It's 78 degrees right now. We're going to stick around to that. We'll probably cool down to about 70 before this game's over. Right now, early in this football game, visibility is going to be a challenge. We're having a little bit of a hard time with the sun in our eyes. Whoever's going to be at the on your screen, it's on the left side of the screen. Whoever is on that side of the field is going to get some sun in their eyes for the first quarter.
They are. It's going to make things really rough to start the game with. Like I said, just where we're sitting here is bad enough. Being on the field, facing right into it's going to be a challenge.
Now, like I said, it's a story of two teams going in two different directions. We saw John Hardin lose a football game that they probably could have won against North Hardin earlier in the season. One of the keys to their football game today is they can't make mistakes. They can't shoot themselves in the foot with self-inflicted stuff. We have seen them come up with a brilliant play only to have it negated by a personal foul or a misconduct penalty or that sort of thing. The talent is there. I mean, certainly the guy to watch tonight is going to be Stephen Livers, and I say it all the time, and he's a senior. He's going to be number 3 on your screen tonight, and if you haven't seen this guy play, you probably should. Quite possibly up there with Joseph Becker of E-Town, the most exciting guy in town.
Yeah, he's going to make some plays tonight. Central has to do a good job. They played pretty good defensively last week. They got to do a good job of trying to keep him under control. If they can, it's going to be a long night.
Last week against Warren Central, Livers ran for 115 yards, had 2 touchdowns on the ground, but he wasn't done. He caught 5 passes for 171 yards and had a touchdown there. And, you start doing the math. 5 into 171. There's some big plays there any way you look at it. And he's a guy that can score anytime he touches a football.
Yeah, and that's something they're going to look to him early and often, I would assume. And if he can replicate that, then it's going to be smooth sailing for the Bulldogs.
We saw Central Hardin struggle against maybe a more talented South Warren squad defensively, but there were some flashes of brilliance. There was some good secondary coverage. There was some good line play, and today they're going to have great line play. John Hardin's not that tricky. They're going to come at you with about 3 different looks. They're going to come at you up the middle with Reinheimer. He's going to ram it to you, and he's capable of a big game up the middle. Whoever's playing quarterback tonight has an opportunity to run. Livers, he likes to run around the end, and when he gets some space, well, he can make what looks like it's going to be a 6-yard gain into about a 60-yard gain real quick.
Yeah, that makes for a very long football game. Like I said, they're going to try to stop him and prevent him from doing that, but it's not going to be an easy task.
Each of these teams has a guy that can kick, so I'm going to give each team an operational range of a 35-yard field goal. So they have an opportunity to put some points on the scoreboard that way. We saw Central kick in that last game last week, and they also have a kicker that can put the ball into the end zone, which defensively is nice, especially when you got a guy like Livers back there that can take it to the house.
Right, especially if they're not allowed to return it once it hits the end zone. Then just boot it, and that's your best defense.
This is a fun place to watch a football game. The crowd here really gets into it. They do up a pretty good barbecue here. It's a great environment. People are very football savvy here who are Bulldogs fans, and so these are a couple teams that know each other. And all season long, I've been talking about how this game or that game doesn't count. This one counts. This is district play.
Yeah, this is one that finally you get the ball rolling. Both teams are looking forward. So, like I said, they know each other. They're all same area. Could be chippy.
Could be. Bulldogs are going to kick off. They're in the dark uniforms. They're going to kick off from the 40. They'll be going from right to left. The Bruins in the light-colored jerseys, sitting up at their 10 for a possible return. Again, will the Bulldogs have the discipline to win here at home in a game that counts? Will the Bruins have what it takes today offensively to outscore a team that's put up more than 400 yards offense in the last couple of weeks against halfway decent teams? So that's going to be the key tonight. Well, the key is playing the football game. I think we're ready to go. Here's the kick. Bulldogs send this one flying. It's going to be returnable. Fielded at the 12. He's got blocks and going to be taken down at about the 27-yard line. Bulldogs swarming on him. He's got about 7 guys on top of him. A little bit of sunshine. Couldn't tell who that was for the return, but that's where Jacob Hobbs and the Central Hardin Bruins are going to start their series.
If that could have been just a couple feet to the right, that one could have sprung.
Almost there. He had blocks.
Yeah.
Things were happening.
Chose the wrong direction.
Bruins offensively talked about some of their struggles. They put up 17 points against a good South Warren team, and in a game last week that was almost comical how many penalties South Warren had. We counted them at like 22 penalties. For
14 before the half.
14 and a half. Here's Hobbs. He's going to give it up the middle. Not a whole lot of activity there. Carries Chris Bellin. Give him a yard. Simple. Let's get the football game started. Bruins, like I said, are looking into that sun, and that's a challenge early. And that sun's going to duck behind the tree line and be less of an encumbrance as we go forward. 2nd and 9. Hobbs not afraid to throw the football. John, we've seen that.
We have seen that. Sometimes a little too often.
Sometimes the 6'6 junior looks, I think he wants to throw here, rolls out left. Got a receiver wide open, and that's going to set up a Bruin first down if he can hang on to the football. He does, picks up about 15 yards. Eric Silva's wide open. Somebody didn't pick him up.
Somebody missed that one.
I didn't see a blitz in John Hardin's coverage, and saw one of the players out there. I'm not going to call him out by name, but he raised his hand like, okay, yeah, that was mine. My bad.
That was me, Coach. Nope. Not too many laps.
If you're the Bruins, you like to see your team moving the football forward early in the football game. They sputtered a few times early against that South Warren team last week. And Hobbs had guys open. He just didn't connect with them very well last week.
Well, he kept it.
Kept it this time. Not sure if that's how he drew it up, but he still picks up 3 yards, moves it forward. We'll see him run a few times. He's picked up a couple hundred yards running the football this season and scored a handful of touchdowns as well. Just happened to be over on the sideline, too, to pick up the play from Coach.
I like the mix-up they're doing right now, though. They're keeping things – keep you guessing.
Hobbs talking to his teammates. They're going to give him 2 on that. I don't think he got the best spot. He leaned a little bit forward, but nonetheless, that's where the play will start. He's working out of the shotgun. He's got Chris Bellin as the running back to his right. Looking to throw, tosses it. Got a guy wide open and just a little too much on it. Nice play. I liked it there. He's trying to hook up with Gavin George, and we saw Gavin George make a couple of great plays on both sides of the football last week.
And almost had another one. A little bit longer arms.
Athletic George couldn't quite stretch out on that. He's 6'3", 175 on the roster, and incredibly athletic. We saw him make a diving grab last week, and we know he can do it, but that one's a little bit tough to grab. So 3rd and 7. Bruins don't want to stall out here. Always want to score in that opening drive. Here's Hobbs. Once again, that shotgun look. 3 receivers. This time rolling right. He's got a receiver wide open again. It's Silvis. Silvis is right at the line, and John, fundamentally, you got to run your route with enough yardage to pick up that first down. I don't think he got it.
You have to know that marker. He definitely didn't get it, but you have to know where that marker is at. You got to be past that line. That play is very similar to that.
When he was originally open, when Hobbs saw him out there, he was sitting at the 50, but when you run that route on 3rd and any, you've got to at least be a yard past the chains. That's just fundamental football right here.
Absolutely.
I'm not expecting Central to punt this football. I always talk about it. This is my favorite hard count situation early in the game, but you didn't even got to run a play if you can get a free first down, but hard to do out of the shotgun. Bruins are spread out. Here we go. Gives inside. No, it's Hobbs again, and he takes it just far enough for a first down. I like the call.
This kid's not afraid to throw his body in there. He's got a big frame. He just throws it out there.
He's tough, and we saw that last year in a few different games where nothing against the guy, but when you're 6'6", sometimes it doesn't look beautiful when you're running the football as a quarterback.
Yeah.
But he picks up the yards, and he's not afraid to take that hit. I'm sure his coaches want him to, get the first down and slide. You're a quarterback.
No dolphin jumps.
You can't have any getting hurt here. Hobbs he's got it back to his left this time. This Bellin again. This time he does give it to him. Keeps it simple off right tackle, and Bellin picks up a couple of extra yards. He looked like he was going to be taken down after a gain of 1, picked up a couple more on his own. We'll see where that spot is. I think I'm going to give him 4 yards credit, maybe 3.5. That's just hard running right there, John.
Yeah, he wasn't coming down. They had to force him out of bounds. He wasn't coming down. You run that play, and you're happy if you get 3 1/3 on it, but if the running back can pick up a yard or 2 extra on that, that's just bonus. Gives you a couple more choices when you're dialing up the plays from the coaching side of the football game. Bruins on the move. We're not stopped on that 4th down. Here's Hobbs under center. A different look with 2 backs. It's Bellin off left tackle this time. Gets a great block off left tackle by his other running back out there. That's Josh Valentine, and that's one guy that energized that Bruins team with some big plays on both sides of the ball last week. Josh Valentine. That he did, and I'm not surprised to hear his name called already this early.
We were giving him some fullback props for taking one to the house last week, and this time it's that play that you make that's not on the stat sheet that helps your team move the chains in a big football game. He made the block that made that play happen.
Yeah, he made just a football play, which is – they don't always get the highlights. But
Bruins coming out with a few different looks here. Here we go with Hobbs under center. Got 2 backs behind him. Running the football's working. Here's Valentine. Hey, he made a good block on the last play. Let's give him the football, and he buries forward for 4 yards, and that's all you need.
Yeah, you might as well reward the guy. Make a block and get your hands to the rock.
Keeping it simple until that sun hides, and we can actually see now without having to hold up notebooks over our forehead to block the sun. It was a little bright up here. It's kind of hard to read the football numbers down there. Not to mention they have some sort of smoke show going off at the beginning of this football game. That made it very difficult to read.
I think it was the grill.
It could be. Okay.
I think it was. It smelled like it.
Here we go. Hobbs pitches outside. Here's Bellin. I'm sorry, that's George. George running the football. We saw him as an intended receiver earlier. Gavin George. Moving the chains, John.
I like it. This is something that they didn't establish last week. So this week I like the fact they're getting out there moving the ball.
Central Hardin football, they always got plenty of guys that can run the rock, and they've already used 4 different guys. And if you had the quarterback, it's 5 guys. And when you've got options, your opposition can't key on you. Right. Valentine, the back, along with that's 42 back there with him. Hobbs keeping guys honest. Just takes the snap and buries forward. Getting good yards on that. And, we've seen the Bruins picking up yards outside off that tackle, John. And if they want to start cheating outside, then we're going to see Jacob Hobbs just take it up the middle. He can call his own number anytime.
Oh, yeah. Once he starts getting them spread out, I said he's got that size. He'll just take it himself and hopefully slide.
Stay upright. All kinds of backs. Somebody's got to get up on the line. There you go. Hobbs moving guys around. He's got 2 backs and a wing back. Not running the football. Ooh, takes a pop. I think it was a designed option run. If he had a guy wide open, he could have thrown the football, but Hobbs, he took a pop there.
I mean, we just called him keeping the ball, but that's not what we expected.
That's Nelson for John Hardin. We're going to call his name a few times tonight on tackles, and he didn't get shorted. 3rd and 7. We've seen Central pick these up. And we got a quarterback that's not afraid to throw. Let's see what the call is here. Hobbs under center. Rolls out left. Got a receiver wide open. Flips it easy, but overthrows him. And that's just one of those things that makes the coaches throw stuff. The play was good. It was just not executed well. Great play call. And Silvas has been open on passing plays. He just couldn't connect with him.
Yeah, you gotta convert on those things. You got a guy wide open, this close to the end zone.
Some of that comes with experience. Some of it, you get excited. You see a receiver that's so wide open, you want to zing him the rock. And honestly, Jacob had some time there to float that one in and make a connection. But here we go, just a little bit outside that operational field goal range for the Bruins. Hobbs going to take this one under center, fumbles the center, messes up the time a little bit, and he's going to be sacked by an aggressive John Hardin defense led by number 9 on that front.
They saw that ball get fumbled, and they smelled blood.
Well, a nice opening drive goes for naught, and, sometimes you draw up the play and you just got to execute it. We saw Central hurt themselves with poor execution twice in a row. Looking around the league, Jay Becker, that's not Joseph, that's his brother Jay. 57-yard run on the first play from scrimmage makes it 7-0 Elizabethtown over Thomas Nelson. How about that? There's 2 guys by the name of Becker that play for Elizabethtown, and they're both kind of good.
Just a little bit.
Here we go, Bulldogs taking over at the 20. They got a couple guys. You got guys in motion, handed off inside, and that's not going anywhere. That's denied by a Central squad that's upset about not finding points on that first drive. Taken down by a host of guys, including that big guy up in the middle.
Yeah, they snipped that out right away. There's no way that was going anywhere.
Tackled by Ramsey.
5-yard loss. Second down.
5-yard loss after forward progress, if there was any forward progress, John. That was just stuffed.
So that's actually my cousin's kid.
All right.
Just a fun little note there. A little family down there.
Here we go. Bulldogs 2nd and 14. Justin Russell, your quarterback. He's been taking a majority of the snaps after we saw Witherspoon go in motion and not come back as the quarterback. He's going to be a wide receiver today for most of the snaps as well. Here's Reinheimer, and Reinheimer usually picks up a yard or 2 when he runs up the middle, and that's just not happening. Central, if they have a strength, those 3 guys in the middle are tough.
Yeah, and they came to play today. They're not messing around.
A lot of guys in there. I'm just going to say his name. We're going to see a pass in play here. And Talon Ferris had one heck of a football game last week at that DB spot. Look for him to make a big football play again today. Here we go, 3rd and 12, ball on the 19. Of these 2 teams, John Hardin's been the one that's been putting up the crazy offensive numbers, but on this first drive, they've gone backwards, lost 2, bringing out the punting unit here, and that's exactly how you drew it up if you're the defensive coach of these Bruins.
Oh, yeah, Central Hardin couldn't be any happier right now with the way that defense is playing, especially after coming up empty on offense.
No real chance of silliness here. Too early in the game for that. Good snap. Kick is whoa.
Oh, wow.
Kind of a worm crawler if we're using a golf term there. George picks it up on the hop, picks up a nice return, and Central's kind of going to get it back about 10 yards from where they gave it up.
Yeah, the situation could be a whole lot worse.
It could be worse. Not the most beautiful punt ever, and that's not really how they drew that up.
No, they actually got lucky the way that it bounced.
Did I say worm burner or worm crawler or something like that? I don't know. I don't know where these words come from, John, but that punt needed an adjective of its own.
I didn't know we were playing Mad Libs up here.
Yeah, there you go. Bruins are going to try again. Didn't work last time. Their drive fizzled out. I think morale sunk when Hobbs had a wide open receiver out there in the left in the flat. Silvas has been open anytime they've wanted to throw to him. Whoever's supposed to be covering Eric Silvas doesn't seem to be doing that.
Let's see how things go this way around.
Here's Hobbs. I'm really enjoying the different looks this Bruin team come out with. This is a game that counts. You know that all week long in practice they were drawing up some cool stuff, adding a couple wrinkles. You know John's got some good film on this game. You know they've been scouting and checking it out, and we're seeing some different things that we haven't seen in the first couple of weeks.
It's fun. I like it.
Is.
I mentioned I like how Central was mixing up their plays.
Big splits on that line, too, playing kind of a modified spread with a wing look. Here we go. Hobbs right up the middle. If if John's not going to respect that defensively, I'm sure his coach is giving him the green light to just snap it and call his own number and take 3 yards.
If it works,
right there,
it
he got
works.
4. And I love it. I love it. Until that team honors that your quarterback can run, you might as well just take 4 yards every play.
Right, why not?
Want to keep your quarterback upright, though. He doesn't want to be popped too many times, but we've already established he's tough.
Yeah, I don't think he cares too much. The coaches care. He doesn't care.
Hobbs, man in motion. Look for him to run again here. That's exactly what they're going to do. Go right off a right tackle. Carries to 9, Talon Ferris. And there's another guy running the football. No shortage of guys that can run the football. A little bit of silliness after that game again. And if you're John Hardin, you just made a pretty decent defensive stop. You don't need to be getting in some of that shady stuff out there.
I was just thinking that. Don't mess that up.
That drives a coach nuts when your team makes a defensive play and gives away a free first down. No flag, though. Here we go. Hobbs, shotgun look. He's got Josh Valentine to his left. Josh leading the way, throws a block out there again. Hobbs going to keep the football, and he stays upright, but he's going to be shy of a first down. Decision time for the coaches. It's out of field goal range, so it's a no-brainer. They're going to go for it here on 4th and 2. And I've been impressed with Josh Valentine picking up key blocks that he needs to pick up out there.
Right, and we talk about for blocking, special teams, all these underlooked aspects of football. It's just as important as making the big play. If you make that block to spring that play, and this kid's doing it.
Hobbs running. We've seen him roll out and have Silvis wide open. I wouldn't be surprised if they dial up a toss here, but they only need 2. Here's Hobbs, just keeps it simple, slams it right up the middle. That's a first down. Valentine, after making that big block, comes up with another big run. That's working.
Right, I said, if it's going to work, you might as well keep doing it until they can stop you. Until they prove they can stop it.
Bruins on the move. Didn't pick up any points on their first drive, but pretty much have had the football for this entire first frame of action. Let's see if they can get some points here before this one ends. Minute 30 left in the first quarter. Central Hardin and John Hardin already. Some good football being played. Hobbs again, runs, gets taken down. It's Satcher on the tackle.
We just say run it until they stop you.
Yeah, and he's having a game out there, number 9 out there, and watch him for the remainder of the game. That's Kenneth Satcher, sorry. He plays tight end on the offensive side. He's a defensive end senior for John Hardin. 2nd and 11, less than a minute to play in this quarter. And if you're Central, you're digging this because your defense doesn't even have to be tired right now, except for the guys that go both ways. 2nd and 11, Hobbs rolling out.
Uh-oh.
He's being chased, but smartly throws away the football. That's a big deal, John, because we've seen him kind of panic in games earlier this season, and when he was throwing the football last year as a sophomore. That was a mature play. Didn't have anybody open. Took the safe route.
Right, decided not to force a pass, not to keep running and get his head taken off. Made a smart play.
Donovan Husky has taken a run for 51 yards, put Elizabethtown up 14-0 early in that one. 7:47 to play in the first quarter. Thanks to the News Enterprise for keeping us updated of the scores there. 3rd and 11 after the Hobbs incompletion. More than likely throwing here, but 2 down territory here. They're more than likely going to go for it on 4th down. So Hobbs tossing the rock, got a receiver wide open again, and but a great defensive play back there by John Hardin. That's 21, Dakota Reisner. Dakota Reisner looked like it was a touchdown, John, but
came through right time to save that play.
Denied. Heck of a football play there. Okay, ball at the 21. This is the interesting part where it's a long kick, and I think they're going to try it. And we've seen him boot the football. He's got an opportunity to make this and take a lead for his football team.
This could get interesting.
Good. Snap is down. Kick is up. And is this one going to make it? It's short. I talked about that operational range being about 35 yards. That one was from 38, and it was about 3 yards shy.
Yeah, you did call it.
It was a kicker. I watch the guys when they're warming up, and I kind of watch about how far it goes, and that one fell short. 2 drives that looked promising for the Bruins, no points on the board. Tonight's broadcast is a Hardin County Educational and Community Television student production, HCEC-TV, a division of Hardin County Schools. Live Channel 1 programming sponsored in part by Brandenburg Telecom, along with eTownApartments.com, Physical Therapy Associates, Bluegrass Cellular, eTown Exterminating, and West Point Bank. Well, John, if you're John Hardin, it's just like the game just started.
Yeah.
Sure, you played a quarter, but you're no worse for the wear.
We're back 0-0.
Keep an eye on number 3, wherever he's at on the field. That's Stephen Livers, the talented senior, where whenever he has the ball in his hands, he could score. Speaking of Livers, here he goes off that end. We talk about that end run. Livers making things happen, but there's nothing there. And I'll tell you what, that's some good scouting by this Central team and their coaching staff. They know he's going to run off that end, and they took that away.
And they did.
Bella on the tackle.
That kid is shifty, though. That kid will break through any time.
When you think you got him corralled, he just turns back around and makes something happen there. That didn't happen. And what did happen is the quarter's over. 1 quarter of play, it went fast, a lot of running plays, and Central's had the ball for most of that first period, but it's just as if the ball game's getting started. 0-0 from John Hardin High School. Tonight's broadcast, an HCEC-TV student production. It's a division of the Hardin County School System. Special thanks to our live sports coverage sponsors, including Brandenburg Telecom, Physical Therapy Associates, eTownApartments.com, Bluegrass Cellular, eTown Exterminating, and West Point Bank. Well, John, if I'm going to give a nod to anything I've seen so far, that Central Hardin defense came to play football tonight.
They did. They looked really good so far. I mean, neither team really getting much done on offense. Central's moving the ball, but they're not converting once they get downfield. John Hardin, obviously, nothing really going for offense for them. We'll see what happens this time around. But defense, especially for Central Hardin, is playing really well.
There have been a couple of what-ifs in this Central Hardin opening quarter. The what if Jacob Hobbs connects with his wide-open receiver on a 3rd and long on their opening drive. Could have led to some points right there because there's no one on the other side of him. He just could not connect. And, what if the field goal was about 3 yards longer? We'd have some points on the board. But John Hardin, I'm not expecting them to draw a 0 up in today's ball game. They've only had 1 possession. They've only run 1 play in this second possession, so that doesn't really count. So they're going to start with 2nd 12 at their own 19.
With John Hardin, you always feel like it can come at any moment. Like I said, you can't count them out. They won't get shut out. But they got to get it moving eventually.
Russell, the quarterback, tosses out to Reinheimer, misses him, and that's not going to pick up any yards. In fact, that's going to lose a yard. He tried his best to get back to the line of scrimmage. Fumble on the play, and that was not how you drew it up.
No, that's not what they're looking for at all. And I just talked about, how they got to move the ball. The ball's going the wrong direction. That's not going to work.
I love what this Bruin team is doing defensively right now. They know that John Hardin runs around that end, and they're going to take that away and force John to play a football game that's a little out of their element. We've seen John have little resistance against some of their opponents earlier in the season. Central's decided today not happening.
Yeah, they're not going to be part of that.
You're going to have to earn it up the middle against our big guys. I like that. Here we go. Snap is to, I believe it's to Witherspoon. They tried to run up the middle, and no, not happening. That's 2 drives in a row the Bruins have given up negative yards.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that play call.
Here comes the punt squad, and, I don't want to diss the punter, but he can only improve on his last one.
No more, what'd you call wiggly worms?
Yeah, no more worm crawlers or whatever.
Worm crawlers.
Whatever phrase I picked up. I think it was supposed to be a golf term, like a worm burner. That's how I drive, is skipping it off the ground. But here we go.
John's still ringing guys in.
John Hardin confused early in this football game, and they're at home, and they've won a couple games in a row. You don't want to use up timeouts when you're punting the football, but their coach has done just that.
Yeah, guys coming in late, running everywhere, guys confused.
Guys not sure of where they're supposed to be on the field and whatever, and it's kind of hard to win against a good defense when that's happening.
Right, yeah, you can't beat yourself while they're already not beating up on you.
Elizabethtown looking like they're going to start rolling the clock early in this one. Jay Gregory, a 40-yard pass from Tyler Durbin. E-Town leads 21-0 with 7 minutes to play in the first quarter. Panthers have run 5 offensive plays.
Wow, and 3 long touchdowns.
They've run 5 offensive plays. 3 of them have been long touchdowns. Yeah. That's pretty solid.
Yeah. And so far, we had no touchdowns here.
Optimistic way to say that is there's maybe going to be some Panthers that get to play that don't ordinarily see. How about that?
Little Jimmy's going to get a few snaps.
They got a heck of a program out there, and
Yes,
they got some talented football players, and they run disciplined football out there. They don't have a whole lot of plays, but they run them well.
Yeah, they do.
4th and 12, John Hardin sent to punt here, and here's a snap. It looks good, and yes, it's much better than the last one. It's a wobbler that's fielded by George. George had a couple options. He thought about going left, thought about going right, and we're going to see our first flag of the football game. Not sure what the infraction was there when he was tackled. Not sure if they got a little bit of the helmet there. No, it's going to be a blocking-related penalty. They were hanging on to that flag to toss it at the end of the play. That's going to set him back 10 yards. But once again, Bruins with good field position. Let's see if the third time's a charm offensively for them.
Right, it's time to start converting on some of these plays. Got 10 minutes still in the half, plenty of time to make it happen.
Early in the football, we've already seen 6 guys run the football and the quarterbacks. That's 7 different guys that have run the football. And they're not shy. They'll let all kinds of people have an opportunity to run. A short field, 50-yard field for Hobbs to work with. They'd certainly like to poke it into the end zone. I think you're going to see a little bit more of the same. Look for that talented fullback to run the football a couple of times here. Josh Valentine, one of the backs behind Hobbs. He's taking his time. He just keeps it himself. That time, give him about 2.5. And your coach and your quarterback just have that conversation, John, that if those tackles are split so far apart, you're just going to take those yards every time. You want that opposing defense to pinch if you are trying to run off that tackle. You want them to come inside. So if they're trying to cheat out there and they give you a split of 3-4 yards, I'd take my chances with that anytime. Because Jacob Hobbs is 2 yards tall plus 6 inches.
Right, it's just lay down to get a few yards for you.
Here's Hobbs, pitches it outside. John Hardin's all over that. That's good football right there.
It's getting competitive. I like it.
Gentry on the Chapman on the tackle. Nice defensive play there. It's going to set up that 3rd and long that Central's been facing. They've had these 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7s on drives. They've converted them. We've seen Hobbs run. They're on the right side of the field offensively. Could be 2-down territory, depending on the outcome of this play.
Yeah, one thing we haven't seen yet from Central so far is you haven't seen him really air the ball out deep yet.
There you go. Hobbs, there you go. It's kind of deep to George. I like that. George was 1, 2, 3 guys on him. Jumped up and made an athletic play. Garrett with the tackle, but that's good-looking football.
That was very impressive. That's something that they've been looking to do. I like it.
I like it. I like Central's chances when they throw a good strike to George in a one-on-one matchup. But
3-on-1s.
He had 2.5 defenders in his area there and made an athletic play. Nice play by the Bruins. They're on the move. 1st down and 10. Jacob Hobbs, the quarterback, gets popped.
Wow.
Somebody missed a block there. 55-52 for North Hardin. That's Hope and Chedwick for the Bulldogs. Just blew that play up. It didn't happen.
This one is where you wish we had instant replay. I'd like to see.
I'd like to see that
what
one
happened
again.
There.
Well, you know, we've been giving them praise of making the blocks, and that time a couple guys got a little confused. Nice defensive play by the Bulldogs. Sets up 2nd and 14. Hobbs in the deep shotgun right now. Sends George in motion, just hands him the football. George cuts back, goes up the middle. Had a big hole up there, too, and cuts that deficit in half. He takes it from 2nd and 14. I'm going to give him 6.5, 7 yards on the play. Well, the refs don't. So it's going to be 3rd and 9. Definitely 2-down football here. Not in punt land. So you have a lot of choices. You don't have to toss the rock all the way down the field for the first down here if you're Central. So defensively, Bruins got to respect the fact that we've seen Hobbs run a bunch tonight.
Yeah, I don't think they run this way. I'm not sure.
Here's Hobbs throwing this time. He's got a receiver open again and connects.
Wow.
I think that's going to work tonight. That's George again. Give Garrett and Boone the tackle for the Bulldogs, but Bulldogs have to find an answer for Gavin George. He's open.
Apparently, doubles and triple teams don't do that.
Earlier it was Silvis, and Silvis was open on that play too. So Silvis, George, getting open. John Hardin's keying the run, and we could see some big passing numbers if Hobbs can hook up with his open receivers tonight.
Silvis is out far on the right. I'm looking for him.
Here's Hobbs. Keeps it himself. And he's got a good gain and more. He's got enough for that first down or really close to it.
I believe he had that first down.
Nelson taps him out of bounds. He does have the first down. They're moving the chains. First and goal. Liked it. He gave a really good solid fake to Bellin, and about 4 Bulldogs chased after that one, John, and Hobbs just had open real estate.
Oh, we've got a flag down.
We've got an unsportsmanlike type of flag. I'm not sure what happened down there. We can't hear what happened. A lot of times that's what it is. And when the Bulldogs came out of their defensive huddle, all of a sudden a flag went flying. That usually indicates somebody said something.
This is not the territory that you want to do that at either.
Bruins looking to put 6 on the board. They could do it here. 2 backs in the eye. Hobbs under center. That's been working tonight. Taking his time before he snaps it. That grill is what's kicking up the smoke, and you're right. It does smell fantastic.
It does.
Hobbs tries to keep it. No. Nelson with the tackle. We're saying his name tonight. He's there. He's making stuff happen defensively, and he just shut that down. Hobbs was his man to watch. They don't have a spy set up on him, but that's Nelson's guy if he decides he's going to go running through that gap. And, I think we're going to see a timeout here. Nope, not a timeout. One of the officials was waving his arms around, doing all kinds of stuff. I think he was just stretching.
I thought it was a timeout, too. I was a bit confused.
I got a little confused. He was just kind of staying loose out there, I guess. Here we go. Bruins got the extra tight end on the left, and look to run the football here. They do. Here's the pitch. Fumbled.
Oh.
Fumbled again.
Oh.
And John Hardin picks up the football. Wow. Central has had 3 opportunities in their end zone, and stuff has happened to them each time. If you're John Hardin, you just got that gift wrapped up and handed to you.
Yeah.
That wasn't even a contact fumble.
No, that was just
that just was an oops.
There was contact after that fumble, though.
Camden Williams, 29-yard pass from Tyler Durbin. E-Town leads 28-0. They've scored 4 touchdowns and run 7 offensive plays.
That's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Hats off to them. They're making it happen. Not sure that's the toughest match they'll see on their schedule this year, but guys are scoring, and they're running plays that are scoring points. You know that Panther team can score from anywhere on the football field.
Absolutely, yes, they can.
There we go. John Hardin running left.
John Hardin's got a long way to go to get back to that end zone. But I'm sure they'd rather start here than...
Anthony Witherspoon, the quarterback on that play, shaking it up a little bit. I think we'll see a mix of him and Jackson. Jackson and the Bulldogs had negative yards the first 2 times they had the football, and they got 2 of them back on that play.
They did. And, again, when something's not working, you switch it up, Witherspoon make some plays.
On your own end, you want to kind of play it safe, too. You don't want to do anything too fancy. It's going to cough up the ball here or whatever. You just kind of want to hang on to the ball. We are down to 5 minutes, 22 seconds left, and in a game I thought we'd see more points already. We haven't seen any.
Yeah, definitely expecting.
Witherspoon fakes the first gives it to Livers. First time we've called Steven. No, he had an exciting end around that went for -2 earlier. That's how few plays John Hardin's run. And Livers is going to pick up 1 yard. Jones on the tackle for Bruins. Going to set up a third and let's call it 5.5, 6. If you're Central Hardin's defensive unit, you're loving what's been going on. Defensive coach dialed up a good one today. Absolutely scouted this football team brilliantly, and they are everywhere that John Hardin's going, and it's creating a little confusion. Witherspoon, athletic, mobile quarterback. He throws the football and throws it right to the Bruins.
Well, you make a quarterback change, and this is what you get.
Man on the interception. Ball was tipped. Witherspoon threw that, the old tip drill, John. If you're defensive unit, you love that tipped ball. It's easy to grab when it's up in the air. And look at that. Here's opportunity number 4 for the Bruins to get some points in the red zone.
Right. This is back-to-back where they've, come up really close.
We thought they were knocking on the door. Had the football at the 4 earlier, and they fumbled the ball on a pitch. They were trying to keep it simple. It just didn't work out that way.
Sometimes it happens.
Witherspoon, he had a little case of the happy feet there. He had a receiver for a second, but that window closed. He tried to force it in there, picking up the first down. Probably not the best decision on that play, and ended up being picked off. North Hardin, they got a guy that can kick the football. He's kicked a field goal, and they lead North Bullitt 3-0 after the first quarter. Not a lot of points there, but that kicking game, when you see 3s and when you see 7s, you assume that they've got a guy that can kick the ball through the uprights. We got a stoppage of play. We have a stoppage of play. I'll talk about the sponsors in a bit. That E-Town game is now 35-0 in the first quarter. Husky, a 41-yard touchdown run, 35-0 at 1:31 left in the first quarter. Let the clock fly early.
Oh, yeah. That's it. I believe it said they've had 3 runs, all for touchdowns.
Everybody's going to get home early enough to catch a movie.
It does look that way.
Here we go. Hobbs in his best starting field position of the day. Doesn't have far to pick up points. He's going to hand the football off to no, he's not going to hand it off to George. He's going to take it to the house. Everybody, including me, thought Gavin George took that football, including the Bulldogs. Some of them still had their hands on their hips after that last play. And Hobbs, the talented junior, just ran it up the middle, and he's putting up some rushing yards.
He is, and Central finally gets on the board. He finally got our first points of the night.
They're going to try to make it 7. 4:19 to play, and we just saw our first scoring of the day. And, if you look at this one on paper, you might have thought that John Hardin would be the one lighting it up offensively. Central's defense had other plans.
They did, and this is, again, not what I expected, honestly, from tonight, but as a Central Hardin alum, I can't say that I'm mad, but I'm keeping my bias to myself.
There's a few guys in this John Hardin Bulldog defense that are out there making some plays, but it's a little early in the football game. I'm seeing some guys with hands on the hips. They're a little frustrated out there, and maybe it's because their defense has been on the field for a pretty good chunk of this first half.
Oh, yeah, they're getting gassed, and, John's got to find a way to keep them off the field for a little bit. They got to move the ball in order to do that.
Speaking of moving the ball, let's talk again about Elizabethtown. I think they've run less than 10 offensive plays, and they have 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, they've got a machine going down there at E-Town. Those guys are something special.
That's the highlight stuff. I hope they got the videographer out there, and they're just picking all this stuff up, because that looks great when you're a senior and wanting to play some football someplace. You put that stuff on your highlight reel.
Right, somebody's building their huddle film right now.
And again, there's some guys that are going to get to play tonight, some young guys that are going to be the stars of the future. Kicking off from the 40. We got the opportunity to get it to the end zone. Let's see if he goes there. Bruins would like nothing better to pick up a win and that 2-game slide, especially in a district contest. This one counts in the right column. Helps you host a playoff game instead of having to go on the road. No deep ball here. They don't want to kick it to Livers. Instead, fielded by 13 by the Bulldogs. That's Javon Blunt. Bulldogs trying to make something happen. They really haven't. They don't have positive yards offensively. If they do, it's 1. They had -4 in the first couple of drives. Don't have that battlefield position to get started here. And 4 minutes is a decent enough amount of time when you got a guy like Livers that can pick up 30, 40, 50 yards on a play, John. So we've seen them come up with some clever stuff. We'll see if they run one of these wide receiver screens or something that we've seen them run with pretty good success. We saw it against North Hardin. But I'll tell you, the Central Hardin defense, they're playing football tonight.
Yeah, these kids are amped up. You know, a game that I don't think many people expect them to win. Well, that's not going to help them. Witherspoon.
That's Xavier Boone at quarterback. We gave Witherspoon the pick earlier. And, oh, no. That's 8. That's Caleb Fitzgerald at quarterback. I thought Witherspoon and Russell would be our quarterbacks tonight, but Fitzgerald threw the pick earlier. He's still in, connects with Witherspoon, and 5 and 8 kind of look alike from up here in the skybox. Here we go. I like that, and that's Reinheimer right up the middle. One of the toughest runners in all of the league.
Right,
his average per carry isn't huge, but he earns every yard he picks up.
He's tough, man. He's one of those lunch pill kind of guys.
You know, you run that play, you hope to pick up 2 or 3, he gets you 4. You hope to pick up 2 or 3, he gets you 3. He gets you 4. Once in a while, he pops it, and we've seen him run for big yards. But you know what you're getting there with Reinheimer. He's not going to give up early on the play. They're going to have to blow the whistle on him. Here we go. Caleb Fitzgerald throwing the rock. This time he's got Witherspoon, but a great defensive play by Chris Bellin.
Central stepping up again on defense.
Chris Bellin defensively just gets a mid on there and knocks that one away. Witherspoon's open, and that was a much better toss than we saw earlier. 3rd and 8, call it. 6. How about that? 3rd and 6. I'll call it 3rd and 6.
I think they've still got time to do something here.
Fitzgerald, the junior. You see him on the defensive side as a linebacker, but he's throwing the rock here. Second guy to take snaps for this John Hardin team. They might be in a 2-down territory here trying to tie up this game before halftime. Fitzgerald's going to give it around the end. That's Livers, and guess what? Central has scouted that play, and they were waiting for it.
Yeah, this guy's not getting off anything that they expected to tonight. Central's done a great job of scouting and preparing and game planning.
Short gain. Punting unit not coming in. Central Hardin's defense has played a solid football game tonight, and they've taken away those end runs that we've seen John Hardin just run with ease against other opponents. And, you know, they're going to make them run up the middle where the bigs are. Here we go. Caleb Fitzgerald. I'm
calling Witherspoon.
Barking out the count. He doesn't look for any other receiver but Witherspoon. And again, we see a receiver that doesn't run long enough to pick up the first down. On a 4th down or a 3rd down and long, 4th down and long, fundamentally you got to run past the sticks and make that catch. Your quarterback will throw you the football there.
Right, situational awareness and the field awareness is killing them right now. That's twice now that you know where your first down is, or you should know where your first down is. You just don't get to it.
We saw Central do it earlier, and this time it's the Bulldogs. A good play, give him a couple-yard gain, and give him a couple-yard gain. You called it. Witherspoon, he had separation, but he's just got to know to run that route, and he's got to pick up the first down on 4th down. Great sense of where the sticks were by Central Hardin. They defended that line well. They haven't given up many yards at all to a team that's been racking up more than 400 week after week. Here's Hobbs. That's been working. Give him 2.5. Falls forward, gets that 6'6" that he is. 2 minutes to play. I think Central would love to have that 2-score lead. I say it ad nauseum week after week, but it's just how you draw it up in your game plan. If you can take an 11-point lead or more to the locker room, your stats, your odds of winning are huge.
Yeah, and Central, I think they're feeling confident right now. They've still got time on the board. They're definitely wanting to hit that 10 to 14 range.
Silvis is way outside, way out left out here, and I'm not sure somebody can cover him. Here's Hobbs. Hobbs looked at it, but unfortunately had a couple guys move on the line. Silvis had so much separation that it looked like Hobbs was going to take a shot to him. I like the play call, and I like the idea of splitting them out really wide. Confused the Bulldogs a little bit, because if they were going to play a zone, that wasn't going to work.
Right. I don't have words for that. I just watched it unfold, but John Hardin's lucky.
Another thing that and a bunch of guys that aren't going to get listed in the paper or in the stat sheet is that offensive line's given Jacob Hobbs some opportunities to throw the football. We've seen him under duress and have some difficulty. South Warren chased him all over last week, but he's back there. He can look around and find receivers like George there. That was an all right play. Didn't pick up a lot of yards, but it's only third down.
Right, they still get another chance at this.
Timeout, Bruins. Now, last week against South Warren, we saw them open up and toss deep 3 times in a row against South Warren, who had some pretty talented corners. And I'm not sure that John Hardin has the same kind of corners that South Warren threw at him last week. At some time in this football game, I expect to see the long ball. Why not take a shot here real quick? It could happen.
Right, that's what I was saying earlier. Last week, they just threw. This week, they're throwing the ball. They're not throwing it deep, like they did last week. And it's coming. You know it's coming.
Hobbs and George last week, they just did not connect on a couple plays that were what-ifs. That if they could have connected on a couple of those, it might have changed the whole aspect of the game. Nonetheless, to play against a good team like South Warren and come out, even though they came out on the wrong side of it, that's a non-district game that they lost by 10 points, and I'm sure they learned a whole lot about their football team in the process. They came away with some great film of a lot of flags, but
a lot of flags.
There were a lot of flags. Here we go. Jacob Hobbs facing a 3rd and 12. Throw is what I'm expecting here. Rolls out right. Look at that line play. John Hardin is getting nothing on him. He was able to just take off and run, and he almost got it all. I think he's going to – and if they're saying he stepped out of bounds, I can understand that. But Hobbs is saying, hey, come on, man, I didn't step out of bounds. And, I think he got the worst spot in football unless they have a better view on that side of the field, which I bet they do. I didn't think he made it out of bounds. Hobbs does a little bit of everything here. He punts, too, and I expect them to kick the football away here.
Yeah, there's no point in doing anything silly right now.
John Hardin not believing it. They're not even putting anybody back there. Well, okay, now we got a return man shuffling back. Hobbs, 1, 2, 3 steps, a good boot. It's going to bounce, roll nicely, and it's going to be down inside the 5. That's a good punt at any level. I'll tell you what, that is exactly how you draw it up. And I don't expect the Bulldogs to do anything but victory formation here, and they're not winning.
No, that was the best punt I've seen in a while, and John Hardin now.
That was fundamentally solid right there. That is exactly how you want your punt. And if nobody's going to go back and field that ball, that's where you want it to happen. I don't expect John Hardin to dial up anything crazy, but Central probably going to play a little bit soft and make sure they don't try anything deep. You got a guy like Livers, you might as well just give him the football and see what he can do. We've seen him run 90 yards before.
Right, he can't do it. All he needs is that one break, and he's gone.
I could be wrong, but if I'm here, I play it safe and I run the football and take it to the locker room. 7 points is not a lot to be down at home. Guess what? He's in the shotgun. What do I know? Hands off to Livers. Livers can make stuff happen. Picks up a little chunk. I'm going to give him 7 on the run. Second, 3 to go, 40 seconds left. I expect maybe they try to get it to Stephen Livers again. Maybe they got some sort of end of the half play that's fun to run, and maybe it works type of thing, but I'm sure it's not going to be anything too crazy. But I've been wrong before. This is Witherspoon.
Right, I should say the same thing. Witherspoon back in at quarterback.
Witherspoon just keeps it up the middle, almost fumbles the football, has enough for a first down. That'll stop the clock and let them run another play.
And good for a Bulldogs first down.
Bulldogs call a timeout.
Timeout, John Hardin.
So much for my idea of them kneeling on the football inside the 5, but maybe they got some idea of putting some points on the board here with 15 seconds. Could be interesting. They run a lot of screens. We saw them a couple of times run some pretty intelligent screens that if the guys make the right blocks and the combination of Stephen Livers with the football, exciting things happen.
Right.
Could take a shot downfield, too. There's not a whole lot of time on the clock.
I think they're going to try to get Livers out in space, see if they can get him the ball and just let him make a play.
We've seen Stephen Livers make plays when he's not in space, so
That's very true.
If I'm picking a play, that's probably where it's going to be. 15.7 on the clock. It's a first down, so no chance of turning the ball over on downs here. Defensively tonight, the Bruins have been outstanding. They've covered receivers. They have taken away the inside run. They've taken out the outside run, not leaving this talented offense with a whole lot of chances. Here we go. Here's Spoon. He throws it deep, and he's got a receiver wide open up the sidelines. And that is not how Central Hardin wanted to defend that football play.
That was not. If you're Central, you can't give up plays like that, especially this late in the half.
That's the first time we've seen him get any look tonight. And
Darian Davis lines up wide right. And there's nothing fancy about that play. That was Witherspoon just cocked back and let it fly.
Tell us again about that victory formation.
Yeah, let's talk about that victory formation again. 8.8 seconds to play. Might as well toss another one deep, see what you can do. Believe they got one timeout as well. Low snap, Witherspoon rolls out, got good protection. Now he's in a little bit of trouble, and he's going to be taken down by Central Hardin. That's probably how this half's going to end, that is.
Central's defense steps up again when they need to.
Central's defense gets a high five, some applause, and a couple of knuckle bumps. Nice stuff right there. LaRue County, 14-0. They're trying to stay undefeated, John. They got a good football program there. They are in Munfordville right now and leading 14-0 against Hardin County. North Hardin added a touchdown. They're up 10-0 to North Bullitt. And E-Town took their foot off the gas a little bit, stopped scoring at least for a moment. The last score that we had was 35-0 against Thomas Nelson. And, I'm sure that clock is flying by. Want to remind you that tonight's broadcast is a Hardin County Educational Community Television student production. HCEC-TV, a division of Hardin County Schools Live Channel 1 programming, sponsored in part by Brandenburg Telecom, along with Physical Therapy Associates, eTownApartments.com, Bluegrass Cellular, E-Town Exterminating, and West Point Bank. John, before we throw it to the band, let's talk about what we saw here. I think both of us thought we'd see a little more offense from John Hardin.
I think we did, and it's a game that I kind of expect it to be the other way around here. Central Hardin's defense has been amazing, making big plays. The interception was huge. John Hardin not really doing what they can do on offense. Eventually it has to get going, I would think.
When you see defenders in the space that a play is going to be run to, you just got to give props to the pre-scouting and the game plan put together by the defensive squad, and including the coaching staff, to shut that down. We've seen John Hardin run at will around the sides. That is not happening tonight, so they're going to have an interesting conversation at the half, but no need to panic. You're down by one score in a close district matchup.
At home.
I'm David Gary. Along with me is John Schartzer. Drew Bernardi is helping us out by reading us the numbers and giving us score updates. We're going to throw it to the band and come back with 3 minutes to play, 3 minutes before halftime.
Hello to HCEC-TV's live sports broadcast. Of course, we are sponsored in part by many local businesses, and we're really thrilled to bring you an upcoming season.
After losing to the Packers, pity the fool.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the John Hardin High School Marching Bulldogs.
It is packed. Listen. Great competition. Joining me today is one of Brandenburg Telecom.
send up your crew's name and you can stand and hover, or you can park a chair.
Sponsors along with property Now, in addition to being property management here, you also have familiar ties in California. Talk about that.
To do. My brother, Mark Harris, and I do this together. He's with the construction. He does the construction and builds everything that we rent. We have, that gives us the ability to build what we see the community has a need for. We've got everything from single level 1-bedrooms, we've got 2, 3, and 4 bedrooms, duplexes, townhomes, apartments, single family homes, brand new construction family homes. It gives me some diverse stuff to offer the community.
Welcome back to our live broadcast tonight. It's a Hardin County Educational and Community Television student production, HCEC-TV Division of Hardin County Schools. I will have a list of all the people that are part of the broadcast tonight here in a bit, and I'll make sure that we give them the props that they deserve. Speaking of props, Physical Therapy Associates, one of the sponsors tonight. More personal attention for more effective results with locations in Elizabethtown, Hodgenville, Radcliffe, Brandenburg, Bardstown, and Louisville. Find them online at physicaltherapyky.com. John Schartzer with me. He's a 49er fan. I won't hold it against him. Well, we won't talk about that till later. I thought maybe we'd see enough offense today that we were going to have to tell football stories, but not so much. John, this is a game where Central Hardin could be winning 28-0 if they would have, could have, and should have.
They could have. So many times they've gotten down and threatened and couldn't convert. Thank God for their defense, though. If you're the Bruins, you're really happy for those guys.
Would-haves, could-haves, and should-haves never put points on the board, but boy, they were knocking early on their fourth possession. They had the ball inside the 5-yard line, made a toss out left, and an unprovoked fumble ended that drive. You could be seeing a whole lot more points. Now, if you're the John Hardin Bulldogs, you got to be drawing up something that's going to make some yards. I heard the radio guys say that they had 66 yards of offense, of which 50 of them came in the last 15 seconds of the half. Yeah,
that's something they've got to move the ball this half. They've got to figure out a way to make those plays, get the ball to Livers, guys like that, and make something happen.
All righty, in Hart County, that undefeated LaRue County team, they're up 20-6. The most recent score is Shoulders from Hart County. Got he threw the football, 7-yard pass to Wilcoxon. 6.5 minutes to play there. They're back in slow time out there in Munfordville. We're in the future here. So this game, a little bit ahead of that one. LaRue County playing good football, and their schedule is favorable that they could come away with one of their better records in recent seasons, and they're hoping that they can advance in the playoffs a little bit.
Yeah, we've actually don't know much about LaRue County this year, so I can't especially
play in Hodgenville.
Well, yeah, I know that.
Throwing the football, they're undefeated right now, playing some good football out there, and like I said, they get to play. They get to make some trips to Munfordville. And you get to play, I think Taylor County's coming up on that schedule.
Oh, so, that sounds sweet.
And no disrespect to those programs, they just aren't ones that you look forward to and have a whole lot of fear. When you know, and I'm going to say this just for comedic sake, if you are playing on the road and there are multiple homecoming games going on, your program could use some improvement. That's all I'm going to say. So LaRue County, North Hardin leads North Bullitt 10-0 at the half. We talked about that earlier. They had a field goal early. They got a good kicking game. Their defense playing some football tonight as well. We've seen defense tonight. Central Hardin winning the defensive battle, not giving up a whole lot of anything. But John Hardin, they've done just enough to keep them out of the end zone. It doesn't matter how they did it. Either way, it's only a one-score game. So 15 seconds before they're going to tee it up and kick it. Let's give a shout-out to the people making this happen today. Dale Mings is the director of our broadcast tonight. I'm David Gary. John Chartzer with me. Drew Bernardi, also part of the team up here in the booth. But the students making it happen, Jordan Allen, Tacoma Yahola, Gabe Stalcup, Amy Loomps, and Bailey Childress. I'm going to tease them a little bit, John. The handwriting that they gave me on this note could stand some improvement. How about that?
This is Doctor. Who wrote this? Doctor.
Yeah, it was definitely a doctor that wrote that one. But nonetheless, without the students making this happen, we wouldn't have a broadcast. We wouldn't be on the air. We'd have nothing. We wouldn't have anything about sponsors either. eTownApartments.com by Mark Harris Construction. Take a virtual tour today at eTownApartments.com. And Bluegrass Cellular, offering the most affordable unlimited plan anywhere where wireless works. Visit them online at bluegrasscellular.com. All right, Central Hardin winning, kicking off. John Hardin's going to try to do something offensively because their offensive production has been a little offensive. How about that? Here's a boot. Doesn't go far. It's a skippy bounce. Goes to one of the guys that usually blocks, but he's got a whole bunch of real estate out there, and nobody's tackling him. So he's going to start John Hardin off at the 49. That's 22 for John Hardin. I didn't have him set to return anything. Matthew Valletta, a junior. He's an offensive lineman. What you like, if you're kicking the football off, you like to kick it to linemen. They sometimes don't have the best hands, but Valletta, he was like, hey, look me, I'm on the stat sheet.
Better lineman than Livers.
Yeah, well, there you go.
You got Livers and Witherspoon both back deep, ready to bring that one back, and they weren't touching the ball.
Given a choice, I would kick it to a lineman over Livers every time. Livers touches to touchdowns ratio is nice. Maybe not as nice as what E-Town's doing in their football game right now. We had them running 10 offensive plays in the first half, and 5 of them were touchdowns. So here we go. John Hardin, speaking of Livers, he's running up the middle, gets popped. He gets popped inside.
Nothing doing. Central's looking to keep that defense strong.
Connor Mann, boom. Connor Mann has had a football game today. I haven't shouted out his name like I should, but Connor Mann's been making some tackles, and he's been disrupting the inside of that. We talked about the Bruins taking away that outside run. Well, some of that happens, John, by just getting penetration up the middle.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, and it's something that Central has owned it so far.
John Hardin, 2nd and 9 from their own logo at half field, gives it to Liber. There you go. That's that offside. That's that off tackle run. And it's a tie, 7-6 right now. They're going to have to kick this one. Touchdown.
And we
we were setting it up. We've been talking about it. We said that the guy can score from just about anywhere on the football field. And for the first time today, Central Hardin didn't seal that outside edge. And just give the kid credit. He can run. He's one of the fastest guys with the football around here. Once he got some space, he was up the line. No one was going to catch him.
And again, you knew it was bound to happen eventually. You knew he was going to touch the ball, take it to the end zone. I was tripping
over my words. I got so excited about that because we just knew it was bound to happen. Last week, he had 115 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, and 171 yards receiving the football. I was quick to call this a tie football game. The kicking game sometimes can bring the fun back to high school football, and there we're at, 7-6. How about that? Just like that, boom.
Boom.
Just like that. We got a 1-point game instead of a 7-point game.
And John Hardin's got those horses. They can make plays like that.
Another touchdown for LaRue County, a 40-yard pass to Atkins, and Cobb ran it in for 2. So 5:04 left before half. 28-6. LaRue County winning out there. LaRue County playing good football. Hey, check it out. It's the fight song. John Hardin's Bulldogs have been ringing up points and offense, and that's how they can put up 400 yards in an offensive game when that's 50 with one play.
Right, and basically untouched. Once you hit that sideline, it was smooth sailing.
If you're Central Hardin, you're thinking about the touchdowns that didn't, but you can't dwell on them. You got to go forward. You got an opportunity here to add some points. And I like how they opened this football game up. It was a methodical a combination of run and pass. We've seen the quarterback, Jacob Hobbs, not be afraid to call his own number and go right up the middle. If John Hardin sets up with a spread of more than, I don't know, we'll call it 3 yards or whatever, he's just taking it right up the middle. He's taking the yards they're giving him, and I like it. And he's done it with success the entire game.
Like I said, he's so huge. All he has to do is just reach his arms out, lay down.
Yeah, it's a great, it's a safe play, and it's easy.
7-6 is our new score. Central Hardin on
Whew, that was quick. Less than a minute into this third quarter, we got ourselves a football game.
stay 7-6 here. John Hardin gets set to kick.
Everybody got a little excited up here in the booth, I think, though, on that run too. With the exception of maybe the Bruin coaching staff, they didn't like that.
You don't think they were too fond of that one?
No. Here we go. Here's the boot. It's a floater, and it's not going to happen. Something happened there. And we got a kind of a false start on a kickoff. It's a legal procedure. It's what happens if multiple guys are moving before that ball is kicked, and it's beyond offsides at that point. Moving back to the 35. Now, it went a little deep on that one. Central's got all their guys that can run back there, including a couple of big guys that you don't want to tackle on a kickoff coverage. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Central has shown us they can throw the football. They just got to connect with wide open receivers. The quarterback, Hobbs, once he gets a rhythm going, I think he can rack up some yards quick. Here's the boot. They stay onsides this time. Fielded by George. George can make things happen. Kind of a slow trot up to the 42, and that's where the Bruins will start their series. John, we saw George get free earlier on some passing plays, and I don't know that the Bulldogs have the secondary to cover him.
Yeah, I don't think so either. That one earlier where I believe it was George that dove out, just barely missed that one earlier. The kid's going to get the ball. He's not afraid to go make a play.
Again, Central Hardin, they weren't shy to throw the football against a really good, talented secondary that looked like the Legion of Boom from Seattle out there. They had guys that were 6'1", 6'2", playing corner, and they were speedy guys, speedy athletic guys that were tough to get free, and they weren't shy. They threw at them. Here we go. Run up the middle. And, you know, that's going to be Valentine. Valentine's another guy that could pop one. We saw him do it and change the tone of the football game. It looked like South Warren was going to ride away with that one, and it was a Valentine run that really changed things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Satcher with the tackle on that play blew it up before it got started. 2nd and 10. Here's Hobbs looking left, looking right. He's got 2 backs behind him. He's going to give it to Bellin. Here's Chris Bellin. He's got a great look. Cuts back inside for even more yards. Picks up 15.5 yards.
I like it.
E-Town has scored again, and it's halftime. They're enjoying a 42-0 lead right now, and I'm going to go ahead and call that one for the Panthers. We're going to predict
I think
that.
that's safe to say. I think we can safely call that.
LaRue County picks up 2 points in a weird way. Not a conversion, but they lead 30-6. They got a safety on a bad snap on a Hart County punt. Apparently it went out the end zone, and LaRue County getting the ball back. 3:41 to play in the first half of that one. 30-6. They're leading. Here's George. Gavin George pops off a would-be tackler and picks up a first down. I don't know what happened there. I thought he was going down. Picked up 3 more yards.
Yeah, again, the kid just wants
McGregor
it more.
with the tackle.
Central Hardin's moving the ball. But we've seen them do this too and get down here and not score.
Bruins have had the football a lot in this football game. Of course, John Hardin just scored, and it was a quick one to Livers. But some of these defensive players, especially the ones that you see on both sides of the football, huffing and puffing a little early in the third period of this one. You don't usually see that after a halftime rest in good weather. So we'll see who's got the endurance in their favor as this game plays out. Gives to Valentine. Not a big carry. Willetta with the tackle. Central Hardin quickly in a scoring position right now. We kind of found the kicking distance. Like I said, 35 is about about comfortable for them. 35 and inside. From 38, they're about 3 short. So they want to pick up 7 on this, or maybe even 8. We'll see how it plays out. Hobbs gives it to Chris Bellin again. He gets some good yardage off that right tackle. Good blocking over there. Sets up a manageable 3rd down. Fitzgerald with the tackle for the Bulldogs. We've seen Central have to face 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, almost sure passing downs. Here you got choices, and you got a plethora of running backs. Plethora of running backs. 7 guys who run the football and the quarterback. 8. Here we go. Hobbs under center. We've seen him just keep it. And look at the split in front of him. Here we go. Hobbs is going to keep it simple, go to Valentine. Valentine picks up tough yards, just picks up a gain of about 8.5 over right guard. McGregor with the tackle for John Hardin.
This is what Valentine's here to do. This is why he's here.
Move the chains. Simple football, safe football, nothing fancy. And it's a way to wear down a team that's already showing a little bit of fatigue early in this second half. I'd be curious at the end of this to see time of possession stats. The Bruins have had the ball forever.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely been dominated on that side.
Hobbs keeping it simple.
He's looking for it.
Gives it to Talon Ferris. I had to wait for a second to give the right props to the carry. Brought down by Garrett of John Hardin, but Talon Ferris, we called his name defensively a little bit more than running the football, but he's carried the rock a couple of times for some nice gains. First and goal at the 5. Bruins have been here a couple times already and came away with nada. They want to put some points on the board. We've seen Hobbs call his own number. He has the lone score for the Bruins. Gives it to Valentine, puts his head down, decides he's going to pick up some yards, and does. He does not allow himself to go down and plumb laid out somebody.
I can't speak enough of this kid's toughness. He puts his head down, keeps his legs pumping, will not be denied.
And how huge is that for Central to come back and answer that quick hitter of John Hardin? You know that John's got the capability to put points on the board. You know that they're going to be playing and trying to dial up some big plays, but Central said no, and we're going to answer that with our own score, and they have an opportunity to jump up 8 here. Here's the kick blocked.
And why wouldn't it be? Why not?
It's too easy. We got a district game here. You know, we don't want to let anybody get up 2 scores. 13-6 right now. Both teams have had some extra point kicking woes, but that's where we're at. A touchdown lead. It'll be interesting to see how John Hardin reacts to that scoring drive. We might see the pace pick up a little bit too. One of our sponsors tonight, E-Town Exterminating. Call them 737-6900. Find them online, mugabug.com. Bluegrass Cellular offers the most affordable unlimited plan anywhere where wireless works. Visit them online at bluegrasscellular.com. Also, West Point Bank with 5 offices located in Elizabethtown, Radcliffe, Upton, Glendale, and West Point. Find them online at westpointbank.com. Let them help you make your life simpler. West Point Bank, hometown banking made simple. John, they chose a good one for us tonight.
They did. It was
no running clocks here.
No
football stories tonight.
We actually get to watch the game intently and discuss it.
There's still so much time left in this game. When you got a quick hitter like John Hardin, you don't know how they're going to dial it up, but you just know that the capability is there. They have livers, I keep talking about last week, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground, 171 on 5 catches. He's a guy that makes things happen, but let's not forget about Witherspoon. I wouldn't be surprised to see them make the shift to Witherspoon, a guy that can throw the rock a little bit better than what we've seen from the other couple of guys. Early in this football game, they made a shift. They've had 3 different guys take snaps today, and well, let's see how this one plays out. I'll talk about it a little bit more. Bouncy snap, a couple of missed tackles. That's 15 for John Hardin. Going up the sideline, Trevor Nelson with a return, tackled by Mann for Elizabethtown.
From at the 47.
John Hardin had Caleb Fitzgerald come in. He was the third quarterback to take a snap today, confusing us because 8 and 5 kind of look alike. And Fitzgerald's first toss was batted in the air and picked off. Set up great field position for the Bruins, but guess what? They didn't score a touchdown. 2 plays later, they tossed left, and an unprovoked fumble. The running back just coughed it up, and John Hardin was still alive. And some of these mistakes, we thought maybe it'd be John Hardin that made mistakes today. They've hung in there. You let a team hang around on their home field, all kinds of stuff can happen. Here's the Speedy Livers. He goes around left end, and Central says no.
They said not again.
Jenrette with the tackle. He had a nice outing last week, too. We called his name defensively on a few different plays. He was terrorizing Steve Spurrier's grandson last week. How about that?
That's one to brag about.
It is one of, yeah. When you see somebody that's got the quarterback name of Spurrier, you know somebody in that family might have been a Heisman Trophy winner. In his case, it was granddad.
Somebody might.
Storied, a historic football background in that family. I think granddad had better stats over his career than Gavin Spurrier had in that football game.
I would venture to say
showed promise, and he's still got another year of high school football ahead of him. Here we go. Witherspoon fakes the give. He's going to keep it. Not sure that's what he wanted to do with this play. Dances left, dances right, and goes forward for 4.5. He made something happen there out of nada.
That he did. He put that defender on skates.
LaRue County is putting it on Hart County right now, 38-6. Bryson Cobb, a 25-yard run. Milby with a 2-point conversion after that. 2:44 left to play still in the first half, and they're getting close to queuing up the fast time in Munfordville.
So LaRue County doesn't have a kicker?
Everybody's going to be out of there. Yeah, well, yeah, I guess not. That's usually what that means when you see a bunch of 2-point conversions. Or they just don't need to.
They just, if they can keep punching it in,
Stop
why
us.
not?
We're up by 30. We're going to go for 2. A little confusion out there. It started when Witherspoon looked to the Central Hardin side, I think, for the play call. And you're not going to get a whole lot of encouragement from that side. And I think that happens sometimes. When you have 3 different quarterbacks in a game, it can change the rhythm and timing of the delivery of your offense.
Absolutely. All of a sudden your snaps are off a little bit. Everything, your counts, anything, your timing with the receivers, everything changes when you got 3 quarterbacks rotating in and out. Sometimes you forget where your sideline is.
We're going to rewind to last week. We were talking about Gavin Spurrier, the grandson of Steve Spurrier, of course, who played for South Warren. It wasn't him. It was whoever was snapping the football to him. We hadn't really seen anything like that.
Right.
It was a really slow looping snap. But we talk about timing, and it looks like the team worked around that just fine because they weren't having guys collide with each other in the backfield. They weren't having any of that crazy stuff happening.
Right.
It worked out pretty well, with the exception of let's just round it to 15 false start penalties they had.
Yeah, but that snap, every time you had to jump up high to get it, hand it back to his back, but they made it work.
Here we go. Here's Spoon, tosses it out to the near side. It's 41. We saw him make a 50-yard grab earlier. Name's escaping me. I'll have it for you in a second. Darian Davis. We saw Davis catch a deep ball for 50 yards earlier, and I like that play. You line them up way out there, and it makes a Bruin defender have to respect that. It takes one guy out of the mix. Witherspoon on the John Hardin side. He can hear his coach from there. 4th down. Let's call it 3. John Hardin making it move. Here we go. He's got guys going all over him. Surprised that wasn't a false start. That is a false start or a delay of game. You can't do that. That's a delay of game. Despite being on the coach's side of the field, despite setting up there, they had an opportunity to advance there, and that's going to set up a 4th and 10. And when you move that ball back to the wrong side of your logo, that's punting time.
Yeah, John Hardin can't afford penalties like that.
That was self-inflicted right there. They might get flagged for a illegal formation on this play, too. They didn't have 7 guys on the line. No call. Here's the boot caught by George. George disses a tackle and keeps running. He's got some space and blockers. Could take this one for even more yards. George cuts back inside, going back to the left side of the field.
Nice block.
Gets a block up the field, and he's going to be taken down just shy at the 7. That play would not have happened without a couple blocks from his homies, and he's going to be giving out all kinds of daps and props after this game because George almost got clowned when he caught the football.
He did.
Made a couple of football moves, and then the rest of that was on the Bruins. Bruins were knocking guys down all over the place out there. One of those guys was Taylon Ferris. Taylon Ferris threw a block that when they watch the film of this, guys are going to be howling, making whatever noise a Bruin makes. It's a bear noise, right? Something like that.
It is.
Yeah.
Let's hear your Bruin impression.
I'll save that one for a game that we that we have to talk a lot more.
Okay.
Sometimes when the running clock happens, we tell football anecdotes.
The next E-Town game?
Yeah, well, it could be the next E-Town game. E-Town is a very favorable schedule after losing one to the state champs, or the number 1 team in Cal. E-Town's got a solid football player. Chris Bellin could have probably taken that to the house around the right end, and that's how it was drawn up. Cut inside. I think he was looking for the promised land there and ran into Satcher instead. His coaching staff were like, no, everything was there.
Again, Central in the red zone. It's got to convert here.
Here we go, Bruins on the move. He's got Valentine behind him. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get the rock. Surprise, it's Valentine. Valentine says no to 2 or 3 tacklers, truck sticks ahead, gets it down to the 1.
Watch his legs when he hits that pile. He doesn't stop.
Fundamentally, they tell you to keep your legs moving. He just puts his pads down and keeps his legs moving. That's fundamental.
He just keeps trucking until they blow the whistle.
That's how you draw it up if you're the coaches. Central Hardin's got 2 opportunities to knock on the door here, and I don't think they're going to pitch it outside this time. I'm just a betting guy, but it didn't work last time. I'm going to take my chances on my 6'6" quarterback or the fullback that's all about action. Here we go, boom. It's Valentine. He gets his name in lights a second time, and that's going to put his team up by 2 scores. That's big.
Again, that's what he's there for. Central, like I said, it's good to finally start converting in the end zone or the red zone. This is not what we expected. But
that's his
Central,
role. If they need 2 yards on this football team, he's getting the rock.
I can't blame him.
The kicking game can be fun, bringing the excitement back to the PAT, and here we go. Bruins tee it up. Good snap. Boot is good. Would have been good from about 15, 20 more yards. That's 7 points added to the score, and 20-6. That's 2 touchdown lead if you're keeping score at home or here with us in the box. John, Central, strong football tonight.
No, they are. Defense has looked great. Offense putting points up. Again, I've said several times, but not what I expected. But if you're Central, you're happy about it. If you're John Hardin, not so much.
John Hardin, you got a guy named Livers that can score in a few seconds, so you're not too worried here. But this is the same conversation we were having when John took on North, and we were just we were expecting a little more. We were expecting a little more fireworks, and we expected a little bit more.
Especially how that game
started
out.
A little more Livers.
That John North game was the craziest starts I've seen.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that for a while. That John North game started off with back-to-back kick returns for touchdowns. and I can't say that I hadn't seen it in a long time because we just saw it at the beginning of the season. John's going to slip Livers into that up-back position, so if they want to kick one of them little poochy balls, you're going to kick it to the wrong guy this time. They've got guys that can make things happen out there. I don't want to just be talking about Stephen Livers all the time. That's unfair. Cedric Medford's back there. He can make things happen. And let's see, Witherspoon back there as well. We've seen Witherspoon take him to the house defensively on interceptions, on punt returns. So I don't think you want to kick it to Witherspoon either.
No, you're gonna avoid him.
Here we go. I'm expecting something to bounce. And there we go. There's a wobbler, not to Livers. Goes to the other side of the field. He's going the long way. It's not necessarily the wrong way. Picks up 2 or 3 yards after the stiff arm. probably ran about 46 yards on the return, but gets a net gain of about 8 yards. Mann with the tackle. Mann has been making those special team tackles the last couple of weeks that we've been watching them kick off.
I'm not sure Livers didn't hit a Central player late out of bounds. But they didn't call it, so I guess we move on.
Here's an opportunity for John Hardin to make something happen. They need to. Time's not really on their side. No time to panic, but they need to move the football down, at least come away with some points. Central not wanting to let that happen. Aside from a big Livers play for a touchdown earlier, they haven't done a whole lot. Here we go. Witherspoon fakes the give inside, fumbles the football after keeping it, grabs it again.
John Hardin's defense came to play tonight.
Halftime in Munfordville. LaRue County leads that one 38-6. So another score there, and the clock moves fast. Doesn't stop. Here we go. Once again, they're starting on the Bulldog, just inside the 50. Witherspoon, your quarterback, gives it to Livers. He's got a blocker. Let's see what he can do. Bounces off a would-be tackler and picks up a first down. Elmore with the tackle. You know, Stephen Livers isn't big, John, but he bounces off tackles.
He does. He's just a hard runner. He's fast. He's shifty.
If you swing and miss, a 3-yard gain could be a 33-yard game like that.
Easily. And he knows it, and they know it.
Bulldogs moving. This is their home field. They want to put it into their end zone. We've seen a little bit of a spark when Witherspoon came in. That wasn't necessarily the case earlier in the season against North Hardin, but Witherspoon more likely to throw the football, I guess, than the three that we've seen, of the three that we've seen. Generette with another tackle. We probably didn't say his name enough in that first half. Him and his defensive line have been playing a smart football game.
That they have.
2nd and 9. Short game to Livers. We don't see Stephen Livers pick up big yardage inside, but you got to do it once in a while to keep that line. You got to have them respect that run. How about that? Keep them honest is what they say. Here's Livers going to the right side. 1, 2, 3 Bruins on that tackle. Boom.
Sniffed it out from the very beginning.
Generette and Mann making tackles today. These guys, they're going to like their film on Monday. Generette is sealing that outside edge, and there was nowhere to go. 3rd and 9. Got to expect John Hardin to go 2 downs here. They did earlier. They're not afraid to do that. They need points, not punts.
Points, not punts.
Deep, huh?
That's deep.
Minute 30. Timeout, John Hardin. You know, that's the second one that they've taken. And they might need those later. Just saying.
It's very true. You don't want to burn all those up now and then get the fourth quarter, get the late, and you don't have any.
3rd and 9. Haven't seen any real trickery or really deep plays. Now, that's testimony to a Central Hardin football team that's playing defensive football. You can't really do reverses and plays that involve multiple people touching the football when a team's getting the kind of penetration that the Bruins are. John Hardin relies on running the ball around the end, and when Central is running a defensive end and a linebacker out there and just sealing that edge, almost as if they see the play coming. Hats off to the scouting before the football game. They're seeing that coming. Watch as this quarter runs out, watching the fourth quarter. Watch the adjustments Central Hardin's making at the line of scrimmage, as if they know what play is coming. Here we go, 3rd and 9. Witherspoon in a pistol, looking to the left, pump fakes, tosses deep. He's got a receiver wide open, and he can't make the connection.
Wow, that's killer.
Stephen Livers was so wide open that might have scared him. I don't know. That could have been a game changer right there on 3rd and 9. Bruins sold out on that run, and nobody picked up Stephen Livers out there.
The one guy
He's
can't
not
let
gonna
get free on
room.
you. That is killer for the Bulldogs.
Wow. I feel bad for Stephen Livers. He's such a big play player, and no one feels worse than him right now. He knows he was wide open on that. Sometimes you see the stadium lights or something in your eyes, and I joke about it. Sometimes when you're so wide open that the pressure's on you, like all the sound around you stops.
Flag on the play.
John Hardin was going to punt that football away. They might rethink this after getting 5 free yards. Central jumped on the play. Might have been drawn up that way by John to bark out a slightly hard count on the punt. If so, hats off to the coaching staff. That's going to give them a workable 4th down. Down 2 scores, I think it's a good thing to do here to go for this, John.
Yeah, I think so too. It's a little bit more manageable this time around. You kind of got Central still, they know they let the big play up potentially a second ago. They knew they jumped off here. That's still in their heads for John trying to take advantage of it.
Darian Davis lined up right. We've seen him on 4th down plays get open. Watch for something his way. It's a run to Livers. It's going to be stuffed shy of the 4th down yards. Man with another big tackle.
He's there a lot.
As they sometimes say, and I don't mean to be cliche, that didn't fool anybody.
Nobody.
Hats off to the interior linemen of the Central Hardin Bruins, who probably played well enough to win this football game for their team today. Their penetration against a good offensive line, John Hardin takes pride in having well-executed, developed plays, and they are disrupting that all over the place. Livers certainly had the capability to pick up a 1st down there, and Central Hardin said no.
Right. Central, again, couldn't have game planned this any better.
Time is in the Bruins' favor here. They can run the football. Nice fake pitch. Instead, it's Bellin around the right side. Let's give hats off to John Hardin for making a play out there. It's 9 for John Hardin. Fitzgerald for John Hardin's been playing some nice football tonight. Been calling his name multiple times. Less than a minute in the 3rd quarter. This game moving quickly. There's still a slight haze in the sky, and that's not a cloud. That's the barbecue smoke. I thought it was like pyrotechnics. If you've ever been to a ball game out in LaRue County, they set up the National Guard howitzer out there, and it does leave some good smoke out there. Here's George, Gavin George. Once he gets running, man, he's as fast as any guy out there on the field. It doesn't look like it because the guy's 6'3", but when he gets running, no one's catching up to him.
No, he puts the jets on, turns the burners on, I should say, and he's gone.
Just kind of looked like he was casually going around the end, but he was cruising. And he kicked it into another gear and picked up the 1st down. 35.5 seconds, if you're rounding. Hobbs got a 1st down, moving his team. Probably the last football play of the 1st half, unless they pick up a 1st down. He's going to throw here. Nice screen pass set up. I liked it. Duncan was the guy they tried to get the ball to, and once in a while you want to get the ball to the big fullback out there in the flat and see what happens. That's just fun right there, but I had to mention it was going to be the last play of the half. An incomplete pass would do it too. But not to jinx anybody, great play. I love how that was drawn up. John Hardin sold out. They just couldn't connect. And if you're Central, you're thinking about the plays tonight that were so close.
Right, I love the play call, but again,
I loved it.
Have to come through.
Everything executed except for the catch. Here's Hobbs. He's going to give it right up the middle. I think that's Valentine. This one might be the last play of the 3rd quarter. Garrett with the tackle. Well, that is going to be the final play of this quarter. And, John Hardin at home for trying to protect their turf, trying to be undefeated on the district season. They've won 2 in a row, in jeopardy of having that win streak come to an end.
They've got to step up big time in this 4th quarter. They're down by 2 touchdowns.
If you're Central and you can come away with a touchdown or even a field goal, if they can get that within 35 yards in their operational kicking distance, if they can put 3 more points on the board, a 3-score lead, you're feeling pretty good about that. If you're John Hardin, your defense has got to make a play. And if I've seen any team in this area come up with some incredibly timely defensive plays that have changed the course of a game late in the game, it's the Bulldogs.
It's true. They can definitely do it. But
they need a guy to make a play right now.
Badly.
Want to talk about our broadcast a little bit. It's a student production brought to you by a team of students, and we're able to be on the air because of our fine sponsors. Those students are Jordan Allen, Tacoma Yahola, Gabe Stalkup, Amy Loomps, Bailey Childress. After reading it the second time, it got a little bit easier there. You'll see their names again before the broadcast is over. Thank you guys for making that happen and allowing people to hear us and all that good stuff. This Hardin County Educational Community Television student production is brought to you in part by E-Town Exterminating, eTownApartments.com, Physical Therapy Associates, Bluegrass Cellular, and West Point Bank. Going to talk about Physical Therapy Associates quick. More personal attention for more effective results with locations in Elizabethtown, Hodgenville, Radcliffe, Brandenburg, Bardstown, and Louisville. Find them online at physicaltherapyky.com. Here's Jacob Hobbs, the junior quarterback, pitches outside, and that is...
It's like Ferris.
Number 9, Talon Ferris.
Mr. Do Everything.
We're calling his name as a cornerback last week, and this week he's a running back. Love Pendergrass. With it, okay. Love Pendergrass with the tackle. I have not called his name today. Tackle Un. That's enough for a first down. Jacob Hobbs is going to be happy to tick this clock away. Here is Gavin George. George just put his head down and said, I'm picking up another first down. Give Nelson the tackle. You can give him 9 yards after the spot.
Bruins threatening again, looking to put it away.
There's some fun stuff going. If you can not follow the football and look off the football, there is some good blocking being done by members of this Central Hardin team. And it's everybody interchangeable. Everybody's doing their job. They're running the football to different guys, and there's different guys stepping up and making that block that's setting up these plays. Here we go, Valentine, boom. Nothing fancy about that. That's just a straight handoff up the middle saying, catch me if you can, and John Hardin didn't. This is a pivotal part of the football game for the John Hardin Bulldogs. Somebody got to bat a football out, make a fumble happen, pick off a pass, or make a stop that forces Central into an opportunity to try to kick. Eric Moore to Josh Moore, 20 yards for a touchdown. North Hardin's up 16-0 at North Bullitt. 8:05 left in the third quarter. A couple of guys who know each other, a little brotherly love on that touchdown pass. Here's Hobbs, and John, I don't want to say I told you so, but John Hardin needed a defensive play. And I told you, if there's any school around here that comes up with these kind of plays in the fourth quarter, it's Reisner for John Hardin making another big stop. You can't ever count this Bulldog team out defensively.
You can. These guys, we knew something had to happen. They knew something had to happen. They went out and made a play.
I don't mind the call there by Central. They were running the football, and that sets up a good run. And really, we've seen this tonight. The play call was amazing. The execution, not so much. Hobbs threw a laser off the hands of his receiver. If it hits you in the hand, you're supposed to catch it, right? We at least say that about professional players. These are high school players. But if it hits you in the hand, you're supposed to catch it. He hit his receiver right on the money, and this one bounced in the hands. But John Hardin, they find a way, and they can easily, with Stephen Livers on their team. And guess what? They're trying for something right now. Lets it fly. They've changed quarterbacks on us again, but that doesn't matter. He had too much arm on that, which sometimes is good, but Justin Russell let that one fly. Had about 15 yards too much. Trying to get to Witherspoon. Witherspoon can run with just about anybody on this Central squad.
That's quite the arm route to overthrow Witherspoon.
Hey, John Hardin was saying, hey, we're going to tie this up right now. They had it. But,
I like it, though. I don't like the pass.
It was aggressive. Reinheimer, the back. John Hardin really hasn't got to use him a little bit. $16, Justin Russell, your quarterback for. Oh, no, sorry, Fitzgerald. Quarterback. They're changing quarterbacks on me faster than I can look at my roster. So,
John Hardin with the penalty.
Anybody watching at home that has a child playing in this game and not giving them the proper props, I apologize. Before the season's done, we'll figure this all out. Maybe they'll add a fourth to the mix. Justin Russell, the quarterback. He gives it to Livers. Livers, that's the matchup he wants. Eats up a bunch of yards before Gavin George takes him down. And if George doesn't make that tackle, Livers could be moving the football and the chains up the field. That was a big chunk of yards that they picked up there, and they needed it. 3rd and 3. Here's a very important football play coming up for the Bulldogs.
Very manageable 3rd down. You got to convert these.
You do just about anything. No need to go panic mode and chucking the ball downfield. I like it on 1st down. Don't love it here. Witherspoon lined out far right. Checks with the linesman out there. He's covered by Ferris, man coverage out there. That's a good matchup out there. We'll have to watch them. Pre-snap penalty. It's going to be on John Hardin. A couple of guys moving that was started. It's a legal procedure. They don't call it false start in high school, John, but I think folks know what I'm talking about.
Right, yeah, I think everyone knows what's going on down here.
It's all an illegal procedure. Holdings are illegal use of the hands, but we get used to the pro and the college game. We use some terminology that's not quite accurate here.
Yeah.
Here we go. It's Russell throwing a floater, and he can't connect with Witherspoon. 4th and 3, down 2 scores. 9:07 is a lot of football, and they're going to punt. I like the decision. There's no need to panic, but if you're Central, you still got to play a little defense on this punt. You don't know that they're going to kick it. Little far back in your territory. If you're going to go all in, it's kind of like an all-in poker bet if you're faking punts and going for it on 4th and 3 from your 20 with 9 minutes to play.
Central Hardin's got to be on their toes. Like I said, you got to at least watch for anything they can throw at you.
Bruins defense, they get a good, John Hardin, good snap, almost blocked. Decent punt. It's going to take a favorable bounce. 1, 2, 3 bounces, and George stays away from it. Not a bad punt, all things considered, and that's going to set up Central on their side of the field. Ball down by 6 from John Hardin. That's Xavier Boone. Haven't said his name a couple of times. I pronounced him to be the quarterback at one point in time. He hasn't quarterbacked today.
Gavin George wisely didn't touch the ball. No. He was going to get lit up as soon as he did.
We've seen too many guys this season pick up bouncing balls, and I wish they would not. But one of those guys was Joseph Becker in E-Town. Now, they play on a turf field where you can get a good clean bounce, but a grassy bounce just isn't the same sort of thing. Jacob Becker also took one on the bounce and took it to the house. He does those kind of things a lot. Here we go. Gives it out to George. He dances out left. Whatever is happening on this play is coming back. There's an illegal block on the left tackle of Central. Kind of refreshing, John, in a game that we saw more than 30 flags fly last week in Cecilia. We haven't seen too many tonight.
We haven't, and it's
single digits when you add both teams up.
Right, which I like. It keeps the game flowing a lot easier. Last week, too many.
I was going to comment, too. We've seen a safe game with nobody down in any plays, but we do have a Bulldog down on the play here. While that happens, I'm going to take an opportunity to thank West Point Bank. They have 5 offices located in Elizabethtown, Radcliffe, Upton, Glendale, and West Point. You can also find them online at westpointbank.com. Let them help you make your life simpler. West Point Bank, hometown banking made simple. You can tune in weekly for rebroadcasts of all local HCEC-TV programs on Brandenburg Telecom and Comcast Cable Channel 2 and Spectrum Communications on Channel 184. The player down for the Bulldogs appears to be walking off on his own power. That's wonderful. We like that, Ty Nelson. Haven't called his name but a couple of times today, if I have, but we don't want to ever call anybody's name when they've been shaken up.
No, we do not. We do not like that.
Pretty clean game. These two teams know each other. Sometimes you can see some chippiness. Sometimes you can see some extracurricular stuff. And we hope 8:45 left to play, that doesn't develop. And I'm sure the coaching staff of these Bulldogs have talked to them about these unnecessary calls, which, in their favor tonight, we have not seen that self-inflicted drive killer that we've been heckling them about.
Right. It wasn't like that first week against North Hardin where they just penalty after penalty after penalty. Much smarter this week.
Hobbs gives it to Valentine. Nothing fancy there. Diaz with the tackle. Give him 2. 2nd and 11. Ball on the 37. 8.5 to play in this one. 20-6 your score. Central Hardin, the visitors, leading the hometown John Hardin Bulldogs. Been a good football game.
It has been.
A game that, if Central Hardin would have converted a couple of red zone opportunities, game could be a little bit more in their favor. Hobbs goes with Chris Bellin off of left tackle, a safe play, picks up 3. Going to set up a manageable 3rd down for him. Love Pendergrass, we'll say his name again. There's a hyphen in there, so I want to make sure to get them both. Makes the tackle for John Hardin. They're still kind of hands on the hips, waiting to see who makes that big play. They couldn't capitalize on an interception earlier and turn that into points, but here they need to shut down this Bruins team.
They're tired, and Central's looking to take advantage of that.
Hobbs wasn't afraid to throw earlier. I bet he might do it again here. Not the safest move, but had a couple guys moving. No call. The reverse is to Chris Bellin. Chris Bellin's second effort's going to set up a 4th and really short. A 4th and really short. Here's where I like to do that hard count, man. I like to call a no play and just bark and see if somebody gives me a free first down.
See if you get somebody to jump on you.
I'm going to get all excited and stop talking about it when somebody does it this season. You practice it and in practice, and you send everyone on laps if they jump off sides or whatever, but you dial up no play and you just give a hard count and get a freebie. Let's see if they try it. You got Valentine, though, and they're going to give it right up the middle, and guess what? You don't have to have any trickery with that guy on your roster. Bold move by the Bruins. Their defense has played well enough, and they just picked up enough to move the chains. Valletta on the tackle, and that's huge because the Bruins have an opportunity now to tick off another 1.5 minutes.
And if you're John Hardin, you almost know that play's coming. You just can't stop it.
Lavelle Wright, he's the talented freshman that North Hardin has out there. 16-yard touchdown run, and North Hardin's now up 23-0, 5:30 left in the 3rd quarter. I want to thank Jesse for giving us the score updates. Drew's watching the game for us to make sure we don't say the wrong names. We got a crew up here, John.
We do. It's a big family.
How about that? Jacob Hobbs, the junior 6'6" quarterback, fakes out everybody, keeps it, takes it to the hizzo, a 49-yard touchdown, and that might be one of the candles on the cake being lit for them. An incredible football play. Not sure if this is a post-play penalty or not. It is unsportsmanlike after the score. Looked like somebody might have been popping off a little bit after the play. You hate that. There's no lead that's safe in football, and you don't want a guy negating a giant play or taking the morale away from, that moment. Everybody's stoked. You just got up 3 scores. You don't want to be doing silly stuff like that. And I'm sure his coaches will have words for him. LaRue County gets another safety against Hart County. Dual safeties. Another bad punting woes happening out there in Hart County. 40-6 your score. LaRue County over Hart. Here's the boot. 27-6. Central's made this deficit hard and even harder for John Hardin to climb out of. John Hardin had won 2 straight ball games, John, and they want to win this game at home. Not looking good for him right now.
That's tough to do down 3 touchdowns with 5 minutes to go, the way Central Hardin's defense has been playing especially.
Let's take a look at these Bulldogs, what's gone on this season. They opened up at the Little Caesars Fort Herod Bowl in Mercer County against Boyle County, and that didn't work out for them. 6 points, they gave up 41. 41-6 was a loss. A game that we covered against North Hardin really kind of told a lot of different stories about both those football teams. We thought John Hardin was going to score a whole lot of points in that game. I think they did too. A lot of self-inflicted penalties in that football game, and North Hardin won that when they opened up with 2 losses. Got it together and pulled out a win at home against Davies County 2 weeks ago, 28-26. Warren Central came to town, made the trip up from Bowling Green, and John Hardin won that one, 33-18. More than 400 yards of offense in the last 2 weeks for the Bulldogs. Not close to that tonight. They're going to probably drop this one. Next week they head to Meade County, and anything happens in Meade County. You can draw it up any way you want and look at paper out there. You never know what you're going to get. You never know what you're getting from the Green Wave out there. Post-touchdown penalty is going to knock it back 15 yards, so if it looks like they're kicking from way back, they are. They're going to kick this one out from the 25. Probably not kicking it in the direction of Livers. They got Livers and Witherspoon in the midsection of their return team. Here's the boot, and I'm wrong. That's going to go right to Witherspoon. Witherspoon stutter steps, and he's going to be tackled in the open field by number 33 of Central Hardin. That's okay. Chris Bellin with the tackle. Want to make sure I give as many sponsor reads as I can before we are done. Without sponsors, we have no broadcast. Brandenburg Telecom, the title sponsor of this broadcast, providing service for all of your telecommunication needs. Also, Physical Therapy Associates, more personal attention for more effective results. They have locations in Elizabethtown, Hodgenville, Radcliffe, Brandenburg, Bardstown, and they have one in Louisville, too. Find them online, physicaltherapyky.com. John, I'm a believer. I always like that when a team has to come back from a seemingly insurmountable deficit. What are they going to draw up? What kind of fun, loving stuff they got? They got Justin Russell at quarterback. He's not afraid to throw. Fakes to Livers, and talk about throw. He's going deep to Witherspoon. Might have been bumped, but I don't think he could have caught that football anyway. Gavin George staying with him. Nope, that's Ferris. Central Hardin's corners are great.
They're not giving anything up.
They do a great job of covering fleet receivers. And that's all about having veterans out there in those positions that read the plays correctly. If you got guys that bite on a run, you're going to be smoked. We saw it earlier. Somebody forgot to pick up Stephen Livers. Livers, unfortunately for his football team, couldn't hang on to the football, and I bet he'd love that one back.
Right, he could have been more open.
Here's Russell. They got a lot of points to make up, and wouldn't be surprised to see him toss one deep again. Single safety coverage for Central. Russell is going to hand off. That's to number 4. We haven't called his name offensively. That's Josh Garrett. If you're Central, you're going to give up that 2-yard run over and over
day. Oh, yeah.
Jenneret, we've said his name a few times, having a big outing.
Seems like an odd time to take Livers out of your offense.
It does. You know, a guy that I haven't been giving props to on defense too is Deontay Duncan. Deontay Duncan's been out there stuffing that John Hardin offensive line, and he's not going to be on the stat sheet a whole bunch, but his contribution noted. He's a big linebacker out there. A couple guys moving on the line can't do that. Only one guy can be in motion. That's going to set John Hardin back 5 yards.
And the penalties start adding up again.
Yep.
Worst possible time.
This is where you're tired, you're losing, and it's easy to make mistakes. This is where good football teams excel. And this is the degree of separation that good football teams have. In the fourth quarter, your team's in physical shape, your team's in mental shape, and you don't panic. You can be down, whatever. You come out, you still run the plays the same way that you do them in practice.
That's true. And John Hardin right now, they're gassed, but they've got to be mentally tough here. They got to quit making mistakes. Again, I got to think Livers has to eventually get involved back in the game.
4 wide. He's got Reinheimer back there, I think, to block. Central drops everyone back in coverage. This is to Witherspoon, and guess what? He's exciting. No one's going to catch him. That's a touchdown. Kind of wish he wouldn't fool around with the football, but nonetheless, you don't do that when you're down 21, but he'll learn. His coaches will say something to him. Heck of a play. I don't want to take it away from him. Russell to Witherspoon. Big game on the play, and, well, there you go. John Hardin's got this within 2 scores, 443. Makes you think about that Livers non-catch earlier and what could have been.
It's very true. It makes it a whole different ball game.
Don't think they've got a kicking unit in right now. All right, going for 2 here. I don't find that to be a strategic move. Generally, that's when you don't have confidence in your kicker. Here we go. Don't be surprised to see Reinheimer just hammer this one right up the middle. He's tough. He doesn't. Russell rolls right. Everybody's covered. Great job defensively by Central Hardin. They had 3 guys. Chris Bellin with the tap away, but they weren't fooled. They had a feeling that Witherspoon was going to get that football, and 3 guys had him covered.
Well, Witherspoon just went straight for the end zone and just posted this guy up like he was in basketball, just calling for the ball in the paint. But he couldn't get to it.
I'm sure teams have their own logic. I'm not sure what is going on the sideline. Central Hardin's got a guy who can kick an extra point.
They do.
And late in the football game, I might have taken my chances on that extra point later. And maybe you set yourself up with a 2 here that if you actually do pick up 2 touchdowns, you're in a position to win the football game. Don't know. There could be something wrong with their kicker. I don't have that information right now, but not second-guessing anybody. I might have kicked that extra point and stayed within 14.
Yeah, I think I would have too, and just take your chances later on.
I expect the Bulldogs to run some sort of onside kick here. At least a roller that gives them an opportunity to recover. A lot of times what you want to do is you want to just get a slow roller that gets past this front line of return. Central Hardin feeling the same way that I do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 guys up front. Ball has to travel 10 yards without your offensive team touching the football. If it's touched within 10 yards, it's fair game for everybody. So live football. If you're watching at home, wondering what I'm talking about, this onside kick. He's got that ball pointed straight up in the air, kind of like somebody would bounce one off the ground. I expect it here. We saw it earlier, and here we go. There's the bouncer. It's good, and that's exactly how you want it drawn up, but fielded nicely by George, and that's a veteran player right there, smartly taking it to the turf. Special teams are important, and sometimes you see special teams mistakes in that situation can cost a team a football game. George was a leader.
Smart head.
Fielded the football as he's supposed to back there like a center fielder, and then took a knee. No need to try to make something silly happen by returning that. And it's good decisions like that good teams use to make their team win. Here's Hobbs.
Look at the recent history of these schools from 2006 to 2000.
Jacob Hobbs and the Bruins would just like to run this clock out with this drive. I'm not thinking anything fancy is coming their way. They have done a fantastic job running and throwing the football today. Here's the give. A couple guys run into each other inadvertently. Taylor Ferris has picked up good average per carry today. Not a lot of carries, but when he has run the football, he's picked up good yards. Not blowing it up with giant numbers, but he doesn't have to. He's contributing. John, there's been a lot of guys in this Central team that have stepped up and played well today.
There has been, and it's been very impressive to watch how many guys are holding their own weight today. You know, especially a guy like Valentine. Hobbs playing a really good game. Ferris playing a good game.
I expect to see a steady dose of Valentine as we go forward here. Bulldogs swarming on him. Valentine picks up not enough to pick up the first down, but we're going to give him 3. Satcher with a tackle. Satcher's been playing a football game tonight. He's got a couple of dings in the helmet out there, I'm pretty sure. He's making contact. John Hardin's defense has been burnt a couple of times today. Don't let that 27 fool you. There's been some guys making some plays. Central has moved the football. They're going to like their offensive totals when this is all done. And for a team that got blanked at home 2 weeks ago, for a team that was on the wrong side of moving the ball against South Warren, they had a good offensive performance tonight. Here's Valentine again. I don't think he got the first down. If you're the Bruins, you're all right with that.
Yeah, I think you're putting
John Hardin's going to call a timeout, or at least call for a measurement.
they spotted him shy.
4th and short. Hobbs is the punter, so it's hard to tell if they're punting or not. They only need, well, how about that? I'm not sure what happened there.
I think they're going to.
From my vantage point, looked like he was a little shy. Central Hardin will take it. They'll be happy about it. There's no laser spotting or no replay on it, so there's not going to be any consideration given.
They're going to run it out
the,
and check it, yeah.
They'll bring out the chains. You know, if you are the defensive squad and you only got one timeout left, you'll call for that measurement until you can get everybody set up. I think you got a pretty favorable spot. It looked good where they put the football down. I don't know that that's where the ball carrier got the ball to. And it's close, and it's a first down for the Bruins. Goodness. Jesse's scribing out an update. 2 updates. It's a final. E-Town wins 42-7. They're good.
They're all right, yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretty decent.
They're good. They're a good program. LaRue County leads 47-6. A 34-yard touchdown pass to Kane Harris from Milby. 6:56 left in the third. Still plenty of time for some guys to score out there. That clock's going tick-tock faster than it should. And that's probably good for everybody involved out there in slow time. Hart County, this ain't going to be their year. They need to. They need to have a couple of guys move into the area, I think, and help them out. They got heart out there, and no pun intended. I lived in Munfordville for nearly a decade, and they got great boosters out there. They got a whole bunch of kids that like to come out and play. They just are a small school.
Right, and that's sometimes you draw a bad, or well, you can't draw a bad egg, but
it's just
whatever.
It's just hard to compete when you don't have some of the talent that other teams have out there, but. I'll root for the Raiders to pick up a victory before the season's over. Here we go. Hobbs gives it to Bellin off the left tackle. Tick-tock goes the clock. I don't think that John has any timeouts left. They might have one. Don't need to blow it now. I don't expect to see another toss. Valletta with the tackle for the Bulldogs. I want to thank John, Jesse, Drew for joining me in the broadcast tonight. John, another one. You can't say it's your first game anymore.
It's not my first game
anymore.
You're
a seasoned pro. You get paid to do this, so you are a seasoned professional. I don't care where you're from. And, it's just fun. We started off with the lights just coming on, the sunshine up. We see Valentine picking up some late yards.
Surprise.
With the tackle. But, you got to love the environment. It's gotten kind of quiet here in Bulldog territory. It can get loud here sometimes when they're winning, but we had a good vibe going. The sunshine was in our eyes. It got dark. The barbecue was cooking. I think the Bulldogs thought they were going to win this football game today, and they're probably a little bit surprised, too, is what they ran into.
Oh, I'm sure they are. I'm sure they had every expectation to come in and win this game. Things didn't go as planned. Obviously, for the Bulldogs, if you're Central Hardin, you're thrilled with the way things turned out.
All right. North is rolling against North Bullitt. North Hardin 30-0. Only a few seconds left in the third quarter. That Tavian Starks with a 1-yard touchdown run. Here's Gavin George. He's had a nice football game today, and he's carrying the ball, puts out he hits the circle button and tries to stiff arm, but only had the 51 rating on that play, I think. Didn't happen. Garrett with the tackle. 1:29 to play, and Central just trying to tick this clock out. They can run 2 more plays and be done with this football game. Jacob Hobbs, don't expect him to throw. They got Valentine back there, add a couple of yards to his tally today. He's had a nice game today. Just a long list of Bruins played great football today. And that's going to be the storyline. There's Valentine as dialed up. Not any surprise there. Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, and his first down means the Bruins can get really in victory formation.
So we got game's over.
John, that's going to do it. They're going to bring out the victory formation and call this one a football game. And I don't even know who to give the football to in this one. So many guys had a good game today. Your call is good as mine. I'm going to give it to Jacob Hobbs. Jacob Hobbs ran the football with authority today. He decided that he was putting his head down and picking up yards, including a 49-yard touchdown where he just outran everybody. And we could be seeing this junior mature into something special. If he can connect on some of these tosses, he's going to be putting up some silly yards. And you can just tell that he has the fundamentals to be an outstanding football player, and he's a good football player now.
Right, and he has a fantastic size, a great build, 6'6". I'm going to go with the whole Central Hardin defense this time. I think the defense
just
overall played
game ball
amazing.
The defensive coordinator of Central Hardin and give him a standing O, because they came out and shut down what John Hardin likes to do, is run around that outside edge. For John Hardin, Stephen Livers made a big play today, and we're going to just go ahead and tip the cap to him. He always does, and we just sort of knew we'd at least see one today. And I think there was a big play that he left out on the football field tonight that I kind of feel sorry for whoever he plays next week.
Oh, yeah,
he's
coming out with the vengeance next week.
That's going to wrap it up for us. Our student broadcast tonight was put together by a bunch of people, and we'd like to thank you for watching this. On behalf of Jesse, Drew, and John, I'm David Gary, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you.